Welcome to Make It Smarter, where you will find middle school math and science tutorials. Today I'm going to show you how to add fractions with unlike denominators. So here you can see we have 1/2 plus 2/3, and the denominators are not the same, so we would say they have unlike denominators. And at first glance, it might seem quite straightforward to add these. We could say that the new numerator is going to be the sum of 1 plus 2, and the new denominator is going to be the sum of 2 plus 3. And then we'd have 1 plus 2 is 3, and 2 plus 3 is 5. This is not how you add fractions. You have to find something called the common denominator. And in order to find that, we have to find something called the lowest common multiple. So let's find some multiples of 2. So we could say that 1 times 2 equals 2, and 2 times 2 equals 4, and 2 times 3 equals 6. These are all multiples of 2, and we could keep going. 2 times 4 is 8, and 2 times 5 is 10, but we don't need to. Let's find some multiples of 3. 1 times 3 equals 3, 2 times 3 equals 6, 3 times 3 equals 9, and so on. And again, we could keep going. 3 times 4 is 12, 3 times 5 is 15, but we don't need to, because we found the lowest common multiple, which is this 6. So we're going to use this 6 to change it in to find our common denominator. So let's rewrite this. We have 1 plus 2, 1 over 2 plus 2 over 3. And we're going to change these 2 and this 3 into 6s. So in order to change this 2 into 3, 2 into a 6, we're going to multiply by 3. And the rule is whatever you do to the denominator, you have to do the same thing to the numerator. So we're also going to multiply the 1 by 3. And to change this 3 into 6, we're going to multiply it by 2. And then we're going to do the same thing to the numerator. So we can rewrite this. 1 times 3 is 3, and 2 times 3 is 6. So here we have 3 parts of 6, plus, and then 2 times 2 is 4, and 3 times 2 is 6. We've now found a common denominator. What we have here is we have 3 parts of 6 over here, and we're going to add to that 4 parts of 6. So now we can simply add our numerators. 3 plus 4 is 7, and we have our 7 parts of 6. The denominator stays the same. And as we always do with improper fractions, we change them into mixed numbers, and our final answer would be 1 and 1/6. Here we have 2 more addition questions. 2 plus 5 plus 7 over 10, and 5 over 6 plus 3 over 4. At this point in the tutorial, I'd like you to pause it. I'd like you to try these 2 questions, and then you can check your answers. So we need to find a common denominator for 2 over 5 plus 7 over 10. So I'm going to find some multiples of 5. So some multiples of 5 would be 1 times 5 equals 5. We could say that 2 times 5 equals 10. And we could say that 3 times 5 equals 15. And we could keep going as we were before. 4 times 5 is 20. 5 times 5 is 25, but we don't need to. Let's find some multiples of 10. We could say that 1 times 10 equals 10. We could say that 2 times 10 equals 20. And we could say that 3 times 10 equals 30. And again, we could keep going. 4 times 10, 5 times 10, and so on, but we don't need to, because you can see that we have a common multiplier. The lowest common multiple here is 10. So we're going to change, we want our denominator to become 10. So let's rewrite our question up here. 2 over 5 plus 7 over 10. And I want this 5 to become a 10, so I'm going to multiply it by 2 to change it into a 10. And when I do the numerator, what I do to the denominator, I must do the same thing to the numerator. And over here, 7 over 10, I already have a 10. I don't need to change anything. So I'm going to rewrite this again. 2 times 2 is 4. 5 times 2 is 10. Plus 7 over 10 doesn't need to change because I already have a denominator of 10. So here I now have 4 parts of 10, and I'm adding it to 7 parts of 10. So if I do the math, I'm going to get 11. 7 plus 4 is 11. 11 over 10. And this is an improper fraction, and we always convert those into mixed numbers. Becomes 1 and 1/10. The next question, so over here with 5 over 6 plus 3 over 4, when you get better at this and have spent more time practicing, you don't need to write out all the multiples like we did for this first question and like I did for the example before. You can just look at these and go, okay, I think that the lowest common multiple is 12, which it is. So I'm going to rewrite this as, so I'm going to do 5 over 6 plus 3/4. And I'm going to use 12 as my common denominator. So I'm going to multiply this 6 by 2 to change into 12. I'm going to do the same thing to the numerator. And I'm going to multiply this 4 by 3 to change it into 12. And I'm going to do the same thing to the numerator. And now I can rewrite this. 5 times 2 is 10. 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 3 times 3 is 9. And 4 times 3 is 12. And now I'm going to add 10 parts of 12 to 9 parts of 12. 10 plus 9 makes 19. I now have 19 parts of 12, which I'm going to convert into a mixed number, which becomes 1 and 7/12.